Hey everyone, and welcome back to another great episode on the Hope and Renewal podcast. This is where faith meets real life and the hard truth is held with compassion. Again, this is your favorite host, Antonio Banks. I want to thank you for tuning in. I hope and pray that this message speaks to your heart, and if it does, that you do not keep it to yourself, but share it with somebody else. Today, I want to wish my mom a happy birthday. She would have been 62. So happy heavenly birthday, Mom. I love you and we miss you. Today's episode is something that touches just about every household. And no, it's not money. It's not politics. It's not even discipline. It's something simpler, but just as powerful. I want this episode called Electronic Parenting. But listen, I'm not here to tell you how to raise your kids. This isn't a lecture on how much screen time your kids should or shouldn't have. See, every family is different, and every child's journey is unique. So please, think of this episode as a conversation, not a rule book. Let's go. If you grew up in the 90s or before, you know how different life was. See, back then, there was no tablets, no smartphones, no apps designed to keep us busy. We actually had this thing, and I'm sure if you was raised in the 90s and if you're listening to this, you know what this is. They're called Etch-a-Sketch. If you don't know what it is, then just Google it and it will refresh your memory. See, back then, twisting those little white knobs felt like high-tech magic. We didn't swipe or tap, we cranked and traced. And if you messed up, depending on how mad you get, there was no undo button. So you shook the whole screen and started over. And if you were bored, you had no choice but to get on your parents' nerves. And I did that very well. Rode bicycles, you played on big wheels, or played outside until the streetlights came on. Or maybe, just maybe, help around the house. Clean, take out the trash, wash dishes with your hands. There weren't text messages reminding us of curfews. The only reminder was the sun going down. And if you weren't home by then, you knew you were in trouble. Dinner at the kitchen table meant one thing: talking, sharing stories, laughing, sometimes arguing, but always connected. Even televisions were different. We had one TV and one program, and only one family figuring it out together. If you had siblings, you had to compromise. You had to wait your turn. And here's the kicker: our parents didn't have digital pacifiers. They couldn't just hand us a screen to stop us from crying. They dealt with us head on. Sometimes that meant a firm no, sometimes a redirect, and sometimes a quick trip to the bathroom for discipline, where you came out trying to catch your breath like you had the hiccups. If you know, you know. Fast forward to today, walk into any restaurant, any grocery store, and you'll see it. Toddlers swiping better than you through tablets like a pro. And if they don't already have one, parents hand over their phones the second the child gets restless. But here's the truth, because this is what we do on the Hope and Renewal podcast. It's not just the kids. Parents are just as guilty. Instead of talking, we text. Instead of listening, we scroll. And the cost? We miss the moments that matter the most. Now, normally, I love drawing direct comparisons from the Bible, but today, let's get creative. Could you picture Noah 40 days and 40 nights on ark? Family, animals, endless rain. And now, imagine his sons, Shem, Ham, and Japheth, sitting to the corner, glued to devices. Every time Noah asked them to help, the answer, just one more video, Dad. Just one more game. What if no one noticed the dove bringing back the olive branch because their heads were down? Or what if the rainbow stretched across the sky, but they missed it, too busy scrolling? Noah never had to parent through electronics, but we do. And sometimes our homes feel just like that ark. Loud, chaotic, full of distractions. But here's the question. Do we let those distractions drown out God's voice? Or do we keep our eyes on the bigger picture? Now let's imagine Mary and Joseph raising Jesus in today's world. They're traveling. Not by donkey, but maybe by minivan. GPS guiding the way. Baby Jesus start crying. And instead of rocking him or humming a lullaby, Mary reaches into her bag and hands him an iPhone. The crying stops. The glowing screen lights up his little face. Baby Shark plays in the background. Suddenly, it's peaceful, quiet, almost too quiet. Joseph looks over and says, Mary, this is amazing. No fuss, no sleepless nights. This is easy. But here's one question. What would have been lost? Would Mary have treasured those nights of rocking him to sleep? Would Joseph have learned patience without the sound of those cries? Would the shepherds have even found the stable if silence had replaced sound? See, sometimes the crying isn't just noise. Sometimes it's holy. The very cries of Jesus weren't interruptions. They were invitations. Invitations to presence, to patience, to love. To ask yourself, are we silencing the holy for the sake of convenience? Here's the heart of it. Parenting was never meant to be easy. God didn't design it that way. Screens make things quiet. They keep the peace. They make life easier. But listen closely. Peace and ease are not the same as purpose. The tantrums, the whining, the why questions, the outbursts, those aren't accidents. They're shaping us as much as we're shaping our kids. If we trade the messy, noisy, inconvenient moments for silence and convenience, we miss the sacred. Because sometimes the holy is noise. So let me leave you with this and close with this. How much of your parenting is shaped by electronics? What sacred moments might you be missing because screen filled the silence? Have you ever chosen convenience over connection? And what did it cost? If Jesus were raised in today's world, would we silence his cries for the sake of comfort? And here's the personal one. What noisy interruptions might God be using in your life right now to grow your faith and remind you of his presence? I wanted you to take those questions into your own heart this week. Maybe even bring them to your dinner table. No phones, no tablets, just voices and presence. Because at the end of the day, electronic parenting isn't about rules. It's about remembering this. No screen, no app, no device will ever replace the power of presence. I want to thank you for joining me today on the Hope and Renewal podcast. I hope and pray that this episode spoke to you. And if it did, share it with a friend, leave a review, and most importantly, keep the conversation alive in your home. Until next time, stay present, stay faithful, and remember, sometimes the noise is holy.